Hello again, welcome. Today, before I start my monologue, I've got to paint you a little picture. You've got to imagine this in your mind, because all of the following's true. But I wasn't a young man anymore. My 20s have gone. I've had an accident, I've been brain damaged, I've been married. The marriage ended amicably, but I married a woman who was quite ill herself at the time, but gradually got better over the course of our marriage. But she could never quite understand, despite the fact that she knew all the time I was brain damaged, I had illnesses, she could never quite come to terms with the fact that I didn't work. Ambition was all in her little world and her family's little world. Despite the fact that we'd been through fertility treatment and I'd had sex with more test tubes than, well, wives. I was phenomenally intimate with test tubes for a few weeks, for a few months. If I never see another test tube again, it'll be too soon. Anyway, I digress. I didn't work, I still don't, and those little tidbits of information kept being nibbled into her brain by family, by friends, by the mother-in-law from hell, and subsequently the marriage ended. So I'm back to that ominous square that's got a big 1 in the middle of it, and I'm back on the dating treadmill. Now, I'm no catch. I was into my 30s, I didn't work, I had a brain injury, I was ill permanently. Hello ladies, come on in. It wasn't quite like that, but the one thing I took with me was that no matter what, there weren't anybody out there in a worse boat than me. There couldn't possibly be, until somebody pointed me in the direction of internet dating. Internet dating. There's a whole world out there, and quite a sizable proportion of them are on internet dating. And I was about to dip my toe in those murky waters, and believe me, they're bloody murky. Date 1. I've been chatting for a few hours, probably, I can't remember. But we met in a pub. She strolled in, looking like Myra Hindley on speed, all bleached blonde hair and haggard face. She sat down and I was immediately drawn to the fact that she had a tattoo on her arm. I've got tattoos on my arms, a lot of people have. You can't see mine. I'm not overly bothered if people see them at all, to be fair. She was bothered. She was bothered that everybody could see the word N-E-L-E-H tattooed on her arm. Nella. Now, I don't know what dialect that is. I certainly didn't on the date. Nella. But I'm a gentleman. I didn't ask. For about 2.5 minutes. I'm halfway through the first drink and curiosity got the better of me. I hope you don't mind me asking, but what does Nella mean? Now, there are times in life when you have to pick your chin up off the floor. There just aren't the words. You know those moments in time when people say things to you and you can't believe them. Elvis is dead. Ant and Dec are still popular. Those phrases, they're impossible to sink in. Nella, what does it mean? It's my name, tattooed backwards so I can read it in a mirror. Chin, floor. My first date on internet dating had her name tattooed backwards for the 2.5 minutes of the day that she was looking in the mirror. It didn't seem to matter to her that for the other 23 hours 57.5 minutes she looked like an utter twat. Didn't bother. Straight back onto the internet dating. Delete. Never saw her again. toe-dipped. Second date. Vet. We chatted online. She seemed pleasant enough, amiable. I wanted to meet her. Now she said to me, innocent, an innocent enough phrase, do you mind if I come straight from work? Of course I didn't mind. I don't work now. I used to work. And would I go to a date straight from work? Yeah, absolutely no problem at all. Quick drink, bite to eat, chat, get to know one another. Smashing. There's nothing better. She was a vet, as I've said. She turned up straight from work. Oh, did she turn up straight from work? But what she hadn't told me was work that day was an agricultural show. She walked into the pub covered in shit. The first date, the first time I'd ever clapped eyes on the woman, her idea of making an impression was to walk into the pub and sit down stinking of cow shit. Oh dear God. Straight back online. Delete. There then followed a few days' grace, because this didn't happen over days and weeks. This quite genuinely happened over months and years. There were hundreds. I've lost count. I've no idea. The butcher. I'm a butcher. Fantastic. It's a profession. She worked for a living. She was carving up dead animals. But so what? I eat dead animals. Somebody has to carve them up, and I didn't mind meeting the woman who carved them up. She turned up carrying a suitcase. First date. Date number 1, she walked into the pub carrying a suitcase. And it soon became apparent why. I've got the weekend free. Do you mind if I stay with you? Pardon? Well, I thought it might be nice to make a weekend of it. It's date 1! I've brought clothes. I've brought enough clothes to last 2 days. Have you now? Well, as much as I wanted to meet you, I didn't particularly want to spend the entire weekend with you. Certainly not the entire weekend trying to work out what the hell you've got in your suitcase when you're a butcher. Was it a set of carving knives? I don't know, I never found out. Was it a skewer? I'll say that again, just purely because I like the word, a skewer. The butchery implement, not the bird. I don't know. I said, you'll have to go home, you're not staying for the weekend. She said, another chin dropping on the floor, man, I can't go home, I ain't got the money to get home. I've come 20 miles for this, and I haven't brought any money. That's right, folks. On yet another first date, I had to pay a woman to piss off. I had to give a woman 20 earth pounds to sod off and leave me alone. It can't get any worse than that. It did. I lost track. I lost track of the amount of women who told me online that they were size 12. No, I'm not sizist. I don't care at all. It's all about the person for me. It's what's inside that counts. I know it's a cliche, but ultimately it's true. You can have the body of the goddess, but if you're thick as shit and don't know what you're talking about, who wants to know? But what I can't be doing with is liars. I'm a size 12, she said, and turned up at the date. She was a size 12, absolutely. Her left calf was a size 12. We had to widen the doors to get her in the pub. Delete. And then there's the woman who turned up. We're chatting, happily, and on sentence number 3, I believe, certainly in the first minute. I better let you know I'm wearing bikini bottoms. Under this skirt, I've got bikini bottoms on. I didn't want to know that, because that pointed at the fact that she probably wanted me to see them later. Maybe. Who knows? But what she did tell me was she was wearing bikini bottoms because she couldn't find any clean pants that morning. It's date one. She's trying to make an impression on me, and her idea of making an impression wasn't to come covered in cow shit, but it was to come wearing bikini bottoms and then tell me about it. Why? Why would you do such a thing? For the love of God, shoot me now in the head and put me out of this misery. Get me out of this hellhole that is internet dating. A couple of weeks later, there was a woman who turned up. We'd been chatting for a week online. It was all lovely. And she turned up and said to me, "I'm so sorry I look scruffy, but I've ironed all my clothes with hair straighteners. I couldn't find my iron." How can you not find an iron? How can you put an iron away, not know where you've put it, and then feel the need to tell people? It's a date! I'm not even telling you about the woman who turned up stinking of fig biscuits. I'm not even telling you about the woman who turned up with that much Dutch courage inside her. She was speaking Dutch. At least I think it was Dutch. I've no idea. I couldn't understand a word she was saying. She was absolutely smacked off her tits. On date one. I'm trying to meet the woman with whom I want to spend 2 or 3 dates, leading on to more and more dates, and eventually, probably, hopefully, have a meaningful relationship with. And they're either in bikini bottoms, they've either ironed their clothes with hair straighteners, or they're covered in shit. Covered in shit. Which at that time was a metaphor for my life. And then finally, after 4,000 years of trying, 17 million dates. Believe me, any woman who was on an internet dating website within 25 miles of my house, I'd either contacted, dated, or wanted to throttle. And then finally, it arrived. A sunbeam of light. She was about to quit internet dating. I was about to quit internet dating. We'd had enough. There was a mutual suicide pact being formed. But we agreed to meet up, and it was shock horror. Lovely. We had 2 or 3 dates. It was smashing. We ate food. We drank. At no point during the date did she say to me, "What I want out of this is for you to take me away for the weekend and beat the living shit out of me." Pardon? It happened. True story. It happened. Pardon? Well, that's my thing. We've got to know each other. I like you. You like me. And what I now want is for you to take me away somewhere secluded for the weekend. Not excluded, secluded. I'd be bloody excluded if I did it. I want you to take me away to a secluded location and beat the shit out of me. Bring a riding crop. It's a dating website. I'm trying to meet my future. I don't want to go to a bloody stable and buy a riding crop and beat the shit out of somebody I barely know. It happened. It's true. I wanted to die. Again, I digress. Finally, it happened. We dated. We spoke. We ate food. At no point at all in the first date did she divulge that, unlike her profile stated, she wasn't a modern dancer. She was a pole dancer. And not just any old pole dancer, good God, no. A pregnant one. She hadn't mentioned it online. She hadn't mentioned it in the chats. She'd kept that little tidbit of information sacred to herself and told me on date 1, yeah, I'm pregnant, but I'm not just pregnant, I'm looking for a man. I think you've found one, love. Midway through the conversation, she wandered off and bought a 10-shot espresso. You heard me right. 10 shots of espresso. It turned up and the spoon wasn't moving. It was a solid soup, a mud of caffeine, which she picked up and downed in one, and then waddled back off to the counter and bought another 10-shot espresso. 10! And down that in one. 20 shots of espresso. And then sat there for 20 minutes talking to me, shaking like a drug-addled leaf. Because she was covered in sores as well and had chase marks up her arms. And she was pregnant and a pole dancer. Anyway, at no point did the final person I met divulge any of that. At no point did she claim she was a size 12 and turn up looking like a hippopotamus. At no point did she divulge she was wearing bikini bottoms. At no point during date 1 did she lift up her left leg, fart tremendously loudly and then declare at the top of her voice that she needed a dump. Didn't happen. We just chatted. It was lovely. We met up 3 or 4 times. We met up 5 or 6 times. We met up properly. We moved it on to the next level. And at no point during the subsequent years did she iron her clothes with hair straighteners. At no point did she open a suitcase and reveal a skewer. At no point did she wear bikini bottoms. I tell a lie. She did. Just the once. On our honeymoon. I dedicate this video to my wife, who tried internet dating and came out the other side, because believe me, it was hell. It was vets covered in shit. It was butchers with knives. It was hippopotamuses. It was bikini bottoms. It was hair straighteners. It was people wanting the shit beat out of them. It was drunk women. It was hideous women. And my wife informs me, on the other side of the coin, it was hideous men. But in all those hideous men and women, there was me and my now wife. We're scarred. We're scarred by the experience, but we came out the other side. We're smiling. We're happy. We're married. And most importantly, we're not covered in shit. Ta-ta.